So I went for a run for the first time.
Holy shit! Seriously?
Yes.
You ran like on your feet.
Okay, so I've been like doing treadmill stuff, but like this is like I'm gonna go for a distance run because the audition I had might kind of deal with running.
1 mile.
No, I did 5, and I got done. And then this morning, I'm real sore.
Oh yeah.
I'm like real sore.
Oh yeah. No, it's impossible to get back into it.
I know, but I felt really good about my 5 mile, about hitting 5 miles
You should.
at a 9:30 pace. I was like, yeah.
I think the last run I did before I sprained my ankle, I did I think it was like a 20-mile run at something like a 10-minute pace, and I was like, that's the best I've ever done. Like that's by far.
Were you that far into your mileage when you hurt yourself?
Oh yeah, no, I was like at marathon preparation. Like I was ready to go, and then because I was trying to get like there ahead of time, and then I was going to start shaving off my time. And then like I was walking down the steps with the kid and I couldn't see the steps. And so I thought I was at the bottom and I wasn't. And then I tried to protect the kid. And so I sprained my ankle.
Smart move.
Yeah, no, I'm totally in favor of what I did, except for the part where I sprained my ankle and couldn't finish it.
I didn't realize you were that far into your mileage.
Oh yeah. No, I was in it.
You were like, I was in it to win it, and then I sprained my ankle. And
I was doing great. I was really proud.
Now you're in it to lose it.
Yeah, no, now I'm no longer registered for any marathons. I'm not even like thinking about signing up for anything. I'm down to the point where like I go out for 1.5 miles and I'm huffing and puffing the whole way. It's bad.
You're like, listen, still did 1.5 miles though.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly you can get out of shape and fat.
Yes.
Like if you just keep eating shit, it's amazing how like you can go from really fit to what I like. I don't know. I'm really high and out of shape.
I'm up there.
I was going to say like 250. Like no, I've never been as low as 250.
I'm up there. I'm up there in the weights.
250. I haven't been 250 since high school, I think. No, college.
You were like 190 in college.
Yeah, sophomore year I went anorexic for a summer and got down to like 190.
Yeah, you were thin.
Yeah, that was unhealthy.
You were thin.
I got like passed out at work one day.
You were thin.
Yeah, no, I've been trying to like convince myself to wake up at 5 a.m. to exercise again. But the problem is Thea wakes up at 6:30 and wants to snuggle, and like that's my time.
That's your snuggle time?
Aaron's the bedtime person, and so I am the morning person. And so like if I don't get up at 6:30 to snuggle with Thea, I don't get any time with my kid.
She's like, no snuggles for you.
So I can like go to the gym at 5 and try and work out, but then if I get back, there's a good chance I'm still gonna be sweaty as hell. And like not like I'll need to shower before I get to snuggle the kid. And if I don't get her right away, sorry, Aaron stole it.
Why don't you just snuggle her being sweaty?
Because then she gets all like, so for the longest time, if I did that, she would probably get a rash. But we have finally gotten her off of like the baby soap and onto like the same soap that we use.
Yeah, we did that a while ago.
Yeah, for whenever we would try it with Thea, she'd break out.
She's always had weird rash stuff.
Yeah, she takes after her mother and that. Like their family has really shitty skin. And so I've always assumed like if I try and snuggle her while I'm sweaty, she'll probably break out in a rash.
The other thought is that just makes her stronger.
I mean, it'll definitely. I mean, I don't want to say it'll give her a superpower. I think most people can probably deal with sweat. Most people. So maybe it'll just like not make her. She won't be a super villain.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's how powers are transferred.
That's my understanding.
Nice.
Should we just get started?
Yes.
All right, cool. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Two Dumb Dads. I'm Chris.
I'm Nick.
And this is... Shit! Where's my list? I forgot what day it is. Episode 51 for March 29th.
You had the episode down this time.
Yeah, no, but we're totally recording it today.
We
Don't
are.
let anybody tell you otherwise. This shit recorded on a Friday. Wait, we released on Friday, right?
Yes.
Yeah, this shit was recorded on a Friday.
If Fridays were Tuesday. 2 plus 2 is 5.
Yeah.
1984 style.
I can tell you all about the... what's going on between now and Friday?
Opening day.
Opening day. I know who won the first game of the season. The Cubs.
Yeah.
Cubs always win. You know who's going to win today? Not the Cubs. They don't play on Friday.
That's true.
I actually know that.
They play on Saturday.
Anyway, so...
Hugh Bowers is pitching. Unless his blister's too bad.
No, actually, John Lester's pitching the first game of the season. And then Saturday is Yu Darvish. And then Kyle Hendricks. And then Jose Quintana. And then...
Isn't Cole Hamels pitching somewhere in there?
I think Cole Hamels is last in the rotation.
Okay.
As the only lefty. No, I'm sorry. The only righty? No. We have 3 lefties? Yeah, because then it would be... I know this shit. I know our Yu Darvish and Kyle Hendricks are the righties. Quintana's a lefty, too. So, yeah, that'd be 3 lefties, 2 righties.
Fair.
Whatever.
Yeah, baseball. Sports balls.
I like sports balls.
I like sports
at least
balls
this
too.
one. And it's the one that I don't feel like is overly. I mean, no, they're all fucking racist.
Yeah, but say let's just
different kind of racism.
Let's dial that Kyle Murphy love back a little bit. Daniel Murphy. Daniel Murphy.
Okay, that's a racist person in baseball. That's not systematic racism. I mean, look, baseball. Are we going to dive into baseball? I'll dive into baseball. I will have this conversation.
Baseball is not the conversation.
Baseball is arguably the most difficult sport to get into because of the extreme cost of entry. You have to buy a glove. You have to buy a bat. You have to buy hockey. Okay, hockey is.
And which two sports have a lower number of black people playing them?
Baseball, lacrosse.
I don't know about lacrosse. We haven't studied the professional.
What's the proper term for rowing?
Crew discriminates a lot of people, though.
I'm going to take a guess that equestrian horse dancing. What's horse dancing? I forget what it's actually called. Horse prancing. It's the one where you sit on top of a horse and it prances.
We're going to call it
while.
horse dancing.
Like
None of these are the 4 major sports in the U.S.
I'm sorry. Were we talking about the 4 major sports? Who said anything about 4? You just said which sport?
I did.
I was talking about the ones that cost you $500,000 to get on the team.
Row doesn't. You can actually row for not that expensive.
I think that is literally the sport that they were doing.
Oh, you're talking about that.
Yes.
We should save that for another day. We should save that.
We should save that one for about 15 years from now.
We should save that one for another day. Oh, I want to talk about it, but on another day.
Maybe we'll use that for our recommendations today. God, what the hell are we supposed to be talking about here?
I was going to talk
we have a new format, if you don't remember from last time. So if you didn't notice our episode last week we are releasing the first of our new adventure and dadding episodes. We're not creative. We don't think things through in advance, and so we figured, fuck it, we'll just call them adventures and dadding. It's what it is.
Truth.
So to go along with that, because we're now a bi-weekly show, so our last true episode was 2 weeks ago, and now last week was an adventure in dadding. We figure instead of doing another adventure in dadding every week, we'll just kind of maybe discuss last week's adventure. I mean, if something special pops up, maybe we'll mention it. But, for the most part, we'll try and discuss the previous week's kind of journal entry.
Things we know you really want.
Yeah. So Nick, you said you wanted to talk to me about something. What do you want to talk to me about?
If people haven't listened, can you give like a 2-minute recap of what happened?
Yeah, I made Thea sexist.
Okay, great. No, that's actually a really good way to sum it up.
So in short, I may or may not have misunderstood something my daughter said as being a like the stereotypical sexist trope. Like that idea of well, I have to do something because I'm a girl. Mm-hmm. And it turns out I may have introduced that concept to her. Go ahead and go back and check it out. It should be in your stream for last week, Adventures in Dadding #1. But in short, that's what happened.
Yeah. So I thought it was really interesting to hear you say that, because one of the things that I think we both deal with as parents is, there are things that I innately worry about there's a lot of stuff I worry about, but one of the things I innately worry about with Miles being a boy is, I don't want him to be a douchebag, for lack of a better term. You can be a douchebag, but not like the douchey douchebag. Just be a normal kid douchebag. I'm okay with that. Mm-hmm. But don't be violent. I don't want to be violent, cruel towards women or men or whoever his partner is, etc. All that stuff.
Or horses or cats.
I don't want
you could be a douche to a rodent.
Don't be
fucking kick a rodent. You can kick a rat. I don't give a shit about that rat.
But don't roofie someone at a bar.
Okay, that's fair. Fair.
So
make sure it's at least in the comfort of their own home.
Yeah, exactly. Listen,
that's a bad one. That's a bad
you
joke.
should keep that one. Just finding the line. And so I had two thoughts listening to you talk about this. One, I totally get where you're coming from. And you even say, you acknowledge your own, that it might be more of your own things, right? The part of raising a strong woman in this world is allowing her to, if that's what she wants to be and what she wants to take joy in, to be able to do that.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
100% agree. And I love that you came to that conclusion when talking about it. But one of the things I kept thinking about with all of this, and I was like, oh man, I gotta do that, get to Chris about that, is this idea that you don't want her to do that, but do you think that maybe because you're so adamant about not gonna let this happen, that you might kind of push her into it? Because that's what kids do, is when you try to stranglehold them into a box, that they kind of will be like, all right, fuck you, and go do it anyway. Kind of like what you said, like you put that into her head because you were so worried about it coming up, as opposed to just kind of letting it roll a little bit, or maybe explain it in a different way to being like, oh, that's great, you could do that, or you could do this.
I'm not worried about that yet.
Okay.
We're not at that age of teenage rebellion where the kids are trying to individualize themselves and like, no, fuck you, I know what's best.
But don't you think it's cumulative?
When we get there, yeah, no, I think that's a thing. I think right now the kids are still very much trying to figure out the world. Like they don't, like they very literally don't understand that gender is a thing. Like I think it was only a little while ago that they started realizing like, oh, Miles has a penis and I have a vagina, and those are different things. Like that makes not this, it's not the same. I don't know if they yet realize that it's different, but they realize it's not the same.
I'd be willing to bet they'd be kind of like, oh, okay, animals.
Yeah,
like
yeah, basically.
I think that's where they're at with most things. Like, oh, this is sad. Oh, I'm sad.
Sure.
Play-Doh.
Yeah. And so I like right now, the point where we're at is very much like we are very much setting the foundation of the information that they have. And so like you can't explain something and expect it to hold. You have to demonstrate it, which is why I point out that like, I know she doesn't get that shit from our house because dad does all the cooking, dad does all the cleaning, dad does all the shit here. Yeah. So the idea of her thinking like, well, I have to do this because I'm the girl is like complete and utter like bullshit as far as this house is concerned. Yeah. Which of course is what led me to realize like the fact that there was a grill sitting in front of her and that like, oh no, she's fucking talking about the grill. God damn it. And so I don't think that I'm going to cause her to rebel against it yet. And I also think that her friends will probably, and that's the thing, right? Is that it'll largely depend on what her friends are like more than it will anything else. But I'm confident that this next generation is just going to some extent, take for granted that women don't have to like be in the kitchen, for lack of a better phrasing. That's just going to be the norm, especially because most like everybody I know, the husband is the primary like housekeeper or however you want to phrase it. Yeah. Like literally all the people that I associate with, to my knowledge, that's the way it works. So I don't.
That's actually a really interesting thing, right? To think about it, like you think about like our parents' generations, like to have that comment.
Yeah, like I've never thought of my dad as a sexist, but I've also never seen my dad cook.
Yeah, my dad did once. I remember in response to my mom giving him shit about not cooking.
Outside of like grilling, right? Because the men are allowed to grill.
No,
my
mom grilled that shit too.
Make an animal hot over fire, but they're not like saute shit. No, that's a woman's job.
It's not like the decadent cooking.
Sure.
Movies. So I guess my question with this, what I was wondering then is how, so, you know, we both have things that are our issues that we try to parent with that in mind. So how do you deal with that now? As opposed to like going like, if that was 10, like, let's pretend like that was 10, what happened there. And you were kind of like, oh, fuck. Like, how do you try to monitor not going maybe to 10, but maybe like hovering around like 6?
Frankly, I'm going to keep the same approach.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that like I'm going to constantly like, because it's not like I was expecting that to happen in that moment. It's not like I was saying like, oh, she's cooking something and so she's going to assume that that's her role in the society. It's just like, fuck it, you're playing with Play-Doh. It was more like I happened to hear that phrase and I wanted to make sure I corrected it. And yeah, I don't think that was necessarily wrong. Like even in the moment, I think I did the right thing had it actually been happening. Like had she actually not been told like, I'm gonna cook this on the grill. The grills are not important. You don't have to be a grill. You can be a saute pan. You can be an omelet. You can be whatever you want to. I think that philosophy is right. Like, okay, okay, look, just so you know, you don't have to though. Like you can choose to, that's an option, but you don't have to. You can do this, you can do that, you can do whatever you want to, and don't let people tell you otherwise. But that does include, you can do this if you want to. Do you want to do it? And if she says yes, okay, just so long as you want to do this. And I think that is the right approach. Even if it doesn't necessarily like get me to that, like I'm going to punch a dude in the mouth. Yeah. Like in that respect, I do try and like get her excited about like female superheroes and heroines and all that stuff. Like I've said before, I'm like really looking forward to being able to show her Captain Marvel, and I've been showing her Star Wars, and like we watch Avatar, and I get really excited about Katara and all these other characters, like these female characters who are doing badass things like that aren't subservient to men. And I think the more, like, as I do that, the more it will instill that, like, this is just the way the world is. Like, you can do this. And then, of course, the inevitability behind that is that eventually those ideas of, like, the women not being able to do that, like that there has been a time and there is media that demonstrates the other side of things. I'll have to explain that, and so be it.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. I always wonder with that kind of stuff, both when I hear you talk about it and also like in my own life, like if there's too far to accumulatively, right? Like over time, if there's too far to push that. But I also think a lot about like, there's a lot of shit that like, to me right now, at least my kid is very much like, oh, what's that? Oh, Play-Doh. Like, and I'm just like, okay, so I make this big deal out of a thing that I don't need to because it's, I mean, it's gone. It's literally gone him, or it means nothing to him. Right. And I always wonder like how much to react to those things. And so when you were talking about this, it really got me thinking about other things that, you know, we deal with Miles and like, what's the appropriate level of reaction? Cause I also try to keep in mind for my own sanity that like, if he gets sad or scared, that like, that shit's over quick. Not that I shouldn't respond to it and like acknowledge it, but also that like, he's on to the next thing in, you know, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
At this stage.
And I think that's the thing I struggle with sometimes. Cause like Thea Thea remembers a lot of things now. Like she is at a point in her personal development where she will like remind us of things that she's heard us say weeks ago. Like I'm confident that while she doesn't actually like understand the gravity of whatever the sentiment is, that she's starting to put together like, okay, this is a thing that exists. I don't understand what it means in like the context of it, but I understand that it is.
Yeah.
And so I'm always trying to be cognizant of that. And like, okay, there's still that gap. But
yeah.
I remember, I think on the last episode, like you made a joke about how I'm that guy that always over explains things. Yeah. And I do that because I'm really worried that if I don't, then I'm going to miss that day when something starts to click and I'll be under explaining. So I'd rather always over explain and always make sure that even if she can't contextualize or understand the like vast information that I'm giving her, that she has it, and that I can also give a simple answer at the same time and say, well, she's not here. Why? And here's a long explanation. And even if the only thing you take from that is she's not here, just in case this is the day when everything starts to click for you, then you still have all that other contextual explanation that you can build off of.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that'd be really hard for me to do as a parent, but it makes sense. Like the being too early to the party it's them being like the moment too late, even if it's not a singular moment that'll happen in. So that makes sense. I just think for me that would be really daunting as a parent because sometimes like
as an overly anxious person, it's like, no, that's just, it's Tuesday.
Yeah. All right. That's fair. Anyway, but I do want to say like, listen to your adventures in Dad. I really liked where you came to the conclusion about something being you and not your kid and watching how you transpose that on them. Because I think that's something as parents that we have to constantly look at, right? Like what shit are you putting on your kids that's you and not them? Which I think about all the time.
And I think we do that a lot. I do.
Yeah, that's part of being a parent. It's part of the fucking, it's part of the joy of fucking up your kid, right? Like, I mean,
yes, exactly.
It's a joke, but it's true. Like everyone messes their kid up. It's just a matter of like, how do you do that, and then how do they rebound from it, or how do you realize it and help them through it?
Sure.
Anyway, I thought it was cool. It was a really good episode.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
What are we talking about today?
So this week we are talking about America's favorite horror story.
Slender Man Part 2?
About a month ago.
It's still good though.
Is it still going on?
No, but there's going to be something else.
It's always all right. So we're talking about the Momo challenge.
Momo.
And I want to be clear, like we're using the Momo challenge more as like this typification of parenting, like terror, like the panic that is always swept up in whatever the latest craze is.
There was Slender Man, there was the Blue Whale challenge, the
Tide Pod.
There's always something.
To be clear, I think the Tide Pod one was actually a thing.
No, they went through it. It was not in the way that it was. It was a way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it happened, but not in like. It was overblown essentially to prey on fears.
Okay.
Just like Momo is in some of those videos. Like,
like there's a thing that'll pop. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's
Right?
Let's start from the absolute bare minimum. What is the Momo challenge? Do you want to explain or should I?
You should, because you'll be more concise with it.
The Momo challenge is bullshit.
Well, yes, that I agree with.
Okay. So the myth of the Momo challenge goes something like this. In toddler YouTube, there is a hidden evil that is Momo,
or
that people have created videos, like very childish looking videos that'll go along, and as soon as the parents aren't looking, bam,
pops in.
Momo pops up, this terrifying evil,
it is creepy looking,
bird woman looking figure that will go, you should kill yourself, you should cut yourself, you should die.
Oh, that's a good mama voice.
I've been practicing.
Nice.
And so this terrible, evil, horrible thing is going to come, and it's going to destroy your child and convince them to murder themselves and commit suicide. It's basically Bird Box.
Yeah. Or Slender Man or the Blue Whale. There's a bunch of these, right?
Sure.
It's total bullshit. Because first of all, the Momo, the ghost, the bird woman, is just a prop that a special effects artist made for a film or for a contest.
And so let's be, yes, you're absolutely right. Yeah. So what has actually happened, people have, of course, been douches, and they have inserted maybe like the pictures or something of this like terrifying thing into videos, and that may or may not be true. I've heard it's actually somewhat true.
It is somewhat true.
But this crazed fear that kids are going out and committing suicide in droves, and that everybody is going to whatever. This is false. This is not something that's happened.
It's an urban legend.
It's an urban legend. Suicide hotlines have been pulled, and they've all said it's never been reported. Police departments, nothing's been reported. Like every statistic keeping group has said, not happening. It's false. It's bullshit.
So I think it's important to talk about what the truth of it, because like anything has something of truth, and I think it is that someone, like you said, douchebag, spliced creepy Momo, probably saying something to that thing in a kid's video that YouTube then saw and probably pulled.
And so I think the first place I'd like to start with this is this idea of the terrible evil. And I think what this somewhat stems from is as we get older and our kids get more and more enlightened to what's available to them, the more that their knowledge kind of goes beyond ours. And so like we are increasingly not understanding the technology that our kids are going to be experiencing because, I don't know about you, but even like I am fairly technologically savvy. And obviously we run this podcast, which means we have some understanding of how this shit works.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I couldn't tell you what the popular social media platform is with kids.
No.
Like I teach fucking college students, and I think they told me like TikTok or something like that is an up and coming. I don't even know what that is. I haven't even fucking seen
I do, because
I
have my niece and nephew, and I teach high school students. So,
yeah, I wouldn't have a clue. I was surprised. Like, oh, Instagram's the popular one now. I was like, fuck, I didn't know that.
I could have told you that.
I'm still on Facebook.
So
barely use Twitter, right? Like, I didn't even take that maturity leap to Twitter at any point.
And it was funny you mentioned that, and I think it's important to note. And I thought about like my parents, and like this is truly it's like violence in video games, right? Like this over like, oh my god, if they play a violent video game, they're going to be murderers and destroy the world, and like,
oh, we were.
Yeah, right. But not really. Like the Tipper Gore, like rap, bad music, bad language and music stuff. Like I think whenever, like you were saying, new technology or new things come about, the older generation is afraid of it for lack of understanding.
Yeah, it's Mortal Kombat. It's NWO,
first-person
NWA,
shooters. I mean,
yes. It is the thing of it's Marilyn Manson.
Yeah. It's the internet in general with search engines. It's porn. I mean, I know there's some issues with porn, but you get my point.
And so I feel like the way to counteract this is just like fucking be sensible. Like if you hear about something, don't just immediately jump to assumptions that it's true. Do a little bit of research and investigate it.
I think also, and this is something I think, and I know this because my brother is even more steeped in tech than us, right? Has some understanding about how these platforms work. Because one of the things I'll say that I've learned about YouTube is because I don't use it that much, right? Like I use it on a very like superficial level. That's not how like kids are using it. Like my niece never, like that's what they watch.
Right.
YouTube is what they watch. And I will say that there is some scary shit on YouTube that the algorithm takes you to. I listened to either Today Explained or what's that about.
And this is the one this is where I wanted to take this next.
Right.
So please continue.
So I do think that like there is a deep dive that like how white supremacy has gained some popularity through videos, right? I do think that exists. But I think as a parent, just having that knowledge, like, okay, like maybe there's some things on there that I don't want my kid to see. But that's just being sensible and understanding, like, all right, what's my kid consuming? Not to be like, you can't watch this. You're going to die if you watch this. Like, keeping dialogue going so that if your kid's like, hey, what did you watch today? And they talk to you about it, being open to that conversation.
Yes.
I think is a much better way to protect your kids, protect in quotes, than trying to keep them away from it. Because you're not going to keep them away from it. It is the medium they are going to use. And there might be some shitty stuff on it.
And this is where I want to take us to now.
You don't want to talk about Momo, the scary Momo?
Momo is fake.
Yes.
Momo is not real.
The mannequin's real.
100% of the story is true, though.
Yeah.
So while this particular video didn't do this, other videos do.
Mm-hmm.
And they are the videos that pop up in like the kids only YouTube phase.
Yes. Which I had my cousin tell me about actually with her kids who like some crazy shit that she saw. I was like, holy fuck, this is real.
So it's at this point that I would recommend you check out our Facebook page, the Two Dumb Dads Facebook page. We posted a video, a podcast episode about this by Reply All.
I also shared it on my personal Facebook if you follow that.
So they go into really great detail about this and kind of really explain this in a very concise manner. Probably quicker than we're going to.
Mm-hmm.
But effectively, what's happening on YouTube, and especially like children's YouTube, is people are creating videos that are, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Although I really shouldn't, because I think they're incredibly, incredibly malicious.
Mm-hmm.
People are creating what I'm going to call parody videos that are supposed to be parroting children's YouTube.
Okay.
In which they will like take on the tone, the demeanor, a lot of the kind of aesthetic trappings of a children's YouTube video, and then explain something like, remember kids, left to right is for attention, against the grain is for attention, with the grain is for results.
Yeah.
In other words, cut across the vein if you want to get attention, cut with the vein if you want to actually kill yourself.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of videos like that. Like there's a lot of shit out there where people will just like make these, I'm going to call them again, parody videos that are just incredibly malicious and go into that children's YouTube app. And so when a lot of parents use YouTube as kind of a babysitter, like, hey, here's my kid, here's my toddler, we're going to put on bear hunt. Like here's this video, like 30 minutes of we're going on a bear hunt. I'll give this kid the phone. I'm going to go take a shit. And then suddenly, like those 30 minutes are over, you haven't gone back to check on your kid, and now you're on this toxic algorithm of like, maybe it's something fine, maybe it's this video of like a guy taking a dump on another person.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's super scary, and very real. And I think that's the challenge we have right now as parents. But you're not going to stop them from watching YouTube or whatever it is.
So why not?
Right now,
right now they're 2.5.
Oh yeah, right now we have complete and utter control of them. I mean, to be clear, so you're right. Like I can monitor what YouTube video I show Miles with super simple songs, knowing because it's the same one I've watched over and over again. And when that one's over, if I'm going to show him another one, I can pick it. Right? I can be like, oh, I'm going to watch this, and I've seen this one, so I know what it is. So I control the narrative. Right?
Yeah, and I think that's like. So here's the thing: we just don't. Like, we just fucking don't. Like, fuck YouTube. Like, that's my result. Like, that's my philosophy right now. Is like, first of all, there's so many more conversational things that even if they aren't teaching, like, here's how you count, then it's at least teaching other societal benefits that aren't, like, we're going on a bear hunt. It's not like the same 8 words over and over and over again. It gives you a wider array of shit.
So I agree, but let me give you the other parenting perspective of someone who I think just has my kid more on a one-to-one basis because not at school as much, right?
Okay.
There are times where I need to get him locked into something because I do have to take a shit.
Okay, so why does it have to be YouTube?
Because that Super Simple Songs with the animation is the thing that can buy me 10 minutes that he gets the most locked into. If I can get him locked into Sesame Street, which is what I usually go to, is like,
okay.
But Sesame Street doesn't always work. I know, I'm pretty confident. If I put on Baby Shark to Five Little Ducks to Down by the Bay, like that buys me 10 minutes. He'll watch that 10 minutes and it will get me that time. And frankly, like I need it, but I can't guarantee that with something else. And so then while I'm pooping, I have to go, fuck, is he upstairs? Is he upstairs doing this? And I trust him to an extent, but sometimes I just need something to get him locked in for enough time to get something done. And right now, the most effective thing, particularly for him, is Super Simple Songs. I watch them far less than I used to, just because I don't want him watching it. But I've cut screen time way down for a couple of reasons. But I think there is, when you talk to a parent who they're on their own a lot with their kid, that sometimes is something they need to do until you can get them into like Lion King, and I can trust he'll watch that whole movie, so I can go get done what I need to get done. I think that's just the truth of a lot of parents. Like sometimes you need to find something, and those YouTube videos are designed to be that effective. The lights and colors and songs.
Well, and that's my point to some extent. Is they are designed to be that effective. And if you don't get done pooping in 10 minutes, then like who knows what minute 11 is going to be.
Well, my argument is then, but I know the exact video because I've got it favored and starred and I go straight to it. I know what's on that full 30 minutes that he's watching. I know every piece of that. And I usually, listen, I'm not leaving my kid alone for more than like the poop, right?
Are you sure he's not touching that screen?
No, because I do it on my TV. He doesn't get my phone in that way. That's the only time he gets my phone is if we're happen to be out to eat and I go to him, and at that point I'm usually putting on Netflix or something where I'm picking the thing that he's doing.
Sure.
So I am hyper monitoring it so that I know what he's about to watch and how he's watching it and what he's going to watch. And I still have that control. My worry is when they get past that point and they're consuming something at 11, 12, 13, 14 that we don't understand yet, that we can't control.
Oh, see, at that age, I'm even less worried. Like, as weird as it is, I think like at those ages, I feel like the kids should be able to have some, like you should have been able to have coached a fundamental understanding of like, yo, the internet sucks. Like fucking don't trust the internet. Like just, if the internet tells you something, just fucking like know it's wrong.
Right. And I think that you and I understand that, and hopefully we'll raise our kids to be able to have a dialogue with us. But I'm talking like also general parenting. I think that's the thing that's scarier for a lot of parents is like, so like if your kid doesn't talk to you, if you have a kid who innately doesn't bring you that conversation and they see this crazy shit on there and they're not talking to you about it, because some kids, no matter how much you try, might just not talk to you about stuff.
Sure.
And that's worrying, but I think that's what scares a lot of parents. At the toddler level, I completely agree. I can control what he consumes pretty like, I mean, if I don't ever want him to watch TV, if I want the TV on and him not to watch it, I'll put Great British Bake Off on. He's not even going to look at that shit. And if he does, he's seeing baked goods.
Sure.
You know, so I actually agree with you on this. But I think it is your job as a parent, if you're going to use that, as opposed to just say, fuck YouTube, if you can't, like if you need something to get that thing done, it's your job to know and understand what the fuck you're putting on for your kid. And if you're just giving them a phone and being like, well,
I will go so far as to say that I don't think YouTube should be used without an adult supervision.
I can agree with that.
I would go so far as like the way our parents treated chat rooms when at least fucking me.
Mine didn't. Okay.
I also didn't have the internet when chat rooms were popular. I started having the internet at my house when AIM was popular. Mm-hmm. For the record, like chat rooms, AIM, fucking amazing. Every kid should have to use AIM for like 2 years of their life just so they can learn to type.
This actually is not a bad idea.
Like, I'm sorry, kids, you don't get to have a phone until you can type on a keyboard. That's my new rule. You have to use AIM. You have to use whatever weird ass fucking message. No, you have to use fucking AIM. You have to find AIM and then pull up some emo fuck? I don't give a shit. Somebody can hack like
So it can make a
a
mod.
faux aim into existence, and then like, okay, this is the section for your emo lyrics, or like your happy, excited. No, nobody fucking uses happy, excited. It's always emo lyrics with weird, cool like emoji shit that I didn't know how to create and was always super jealous of.
So this is the other thing I'll ask you. Like, so well, one way with super simple songs in particular is you can buy them on Amazon and buy the actual like animation and void YouTube altogether. But what if you're a parent who just you don't have that luxury? Like I just besides having an understanding of what they're watching, like I do stand by. I think some parents just don't have that luxury to be like, nope, fuck it. You are watching 30 minutes of screen time and that's it, and there's no more. And like,
so first off, I want to point out, I'm not saying 30 minutes of screen time.
I'm just using it as like a crazy.
No, because I think this is an important acknowledgement here. Is I think like I'm not a horrible opponent of screen time. I kind of am. I don't think you should use screens that often. Admittedly, we had the TV on 24/7 in this household because it's our background noise. Like we could use the radio, but fuck it, we use Gilmore Girls.
Which I want to talk to you about that show someday.
Oh yeah, no, I realize, and I'm already thinking about how the fuck I'm going to explain this shit
for a couple different reasons. But anyway,
yeah.
Money gets you a lot of stuff when you're white in a white town with a lot of money.
Oh yeah, no, that's a thing. I will say that's always our conversation while we're watching. Like, this show is so fucking horrible. It is, but oh god, it's so relaxing.
It totally
really is.
One day it got me, and I was like, oh,
it got me the first time I watched it.
Oh yeah, well you're smarter than me, but it got me when I was thinking about, I was like, I might just watch the newer Gilmore Girls.
Oh no, even that one's really bad.
Oh, is it? Okay,
super bad. Like first of all, it's like all that hard work Rory did for 6-7 seasons didn't benefit her at all. It's just completely illogical.
That's real life. Sometimes that happens.
Nah, not in her situation, because she had every connection. Like, she was literally following around Barack Obama as the former editor of the Yale newspaper that had like the god of newspaper writing, and bitch couldn't get a job at Slate. Nah, I don't buy it. I don't buy
Maybe
it for
she's
a
not
second.
Good.
But they said she was.
That's a lie. Anyway.
Okay.
We jumped the shark.
I don't know. I like the sharks.
Baby shark. No, I just listen. I think you're right, and I think that the question, I think it's twofold. I think when you have little kids, it's you monitoring, it's you knowing what they watch. Because I think screen times are just kind of they're a natural part of evil in this. And I think that when you're older, it's understanding, hopefully developing enough relationship that your kids will talk to you, but still kind of trying to have an idea of how the platform they're using works.
I think it's important to, from day one, like as soon as you decide, okay, YouTube is going to be a part of my child's life, that you absolutely instantly go, okay, here's YouTube. Here's this children's video. This voice, I'm pretty sure this is Nathan Fillion. I have no proof.
It's not Nathan Fillion.
Is it really?
I did the research, but continue.
I feel like it's Nathan Fillion. The point is, it's also evil, and it wants to kill you. In a very literal sense. People want you to be racist. It wants you to be a horrible human being. And if you ignore it for even a moment and just let it serve as background noise, it will ruin your life.
I'm not going that far, but okay.
Yeah, I'm leaning. So first of all, you have a boy.
This is true. Oh wait, I thought we were going to bring. I thought that gender stuff was all bullshit, Chris.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I'm pulling the gender card at the moment.
I think we had a whole podcast where I was like, well, I have a boy, something's different. You go, and I'm gonna be like, no, bullshit. That's bullshit. I think that's bullshit.
Yeah,
Benjamin,
it is.
It's bullshit.
It is.
So gender card. Continue.
Except for like, look, the world is kind of shitty to girls.
Chris,
is that like okay? So let's
don't pull the hardship of pulling a girl gender card because that's bullshit.
I'm not saying it's harder to raise a girl in this situation. I'm saying that like it is harder to be a girl on the internet. I feel like that is just a fundamental truth of the digital age.
I think it's hard to be a girl in a lot of situations, but yes.
Yes, but in this particular moment, I am talking about her being. I don't think it's more difficult parenting a girl on the internet because the answer is still the same. Like, kid, this world wants to fucking ruin you. You can't be aware that internet, don't look at comments. Do not, you look at those. Okay, look at the comments, but be aware those are all shitty human beings.
Listen, Ralph Breaks the Internet tells you not to look at the comments.
You shouldn't look at the comments. Ever. But if you do look at the comments, because eventually you'll look at the fucking comments.
I don't. I'm pretty good at that.
you're going. Oh, see, here's the thing. I like clickbait articles, but I try not to click them. So I always click on the comments to see if maybe the answer's there first. I don't have to clickbait.
I clicked the clickbait article. Anyway, so kid, when you introduce YouTube to your...
Just let them know the world's fucking horrible. That the world is trying to kill you.
I think that's like generally how you parent, isn't it? Like the world's trying to kill you, but you can't escape these things. So let's see if we can teach you how to use it responsibly. P.S. I don't know how to use it, so I'm kind of dependent upon you to show me how to use it.
Yeah, that's my goal.
Yeah.
I want to raise a kid who's smart enough by the internet to not get molested, and also teach me how to make sure I don't accidentally go into like the dark web.
And you know what? That's possible because I've seen it happen. I have a niece and nephew who both live in that world. But
to the dark web?
I'm willing to bet my niece has probably gone to the dark web.
I would bet that I'm not going to go down this pathway. Here's the thing. I kind of know how to get to the dark web. I don't want to go.
I don't. And I don't want to go. You know, I'm perfectly happy listening to John Ronson tell me about the dark web. Or whoever. Just tell me about it.
If you have thoughts about how horrible the internet is, I would love to hear them. I would love to hear your experiences with the internet, or more importantly, your children's experiences with the internet, or maybe your experiences with children and the internet. You can reach us at emails at 2dumbdads.com. That's emails at the number 2dumbdads.com. We actually have about 1,000 emails, but they're all from like some weird cloud service. Like we are apparently getting really popular on an English podcasting platform.
Yeah,
I didn't know we were even on.
We should ask Sprague about that.
We really should. My assumption is that there's just something about my voice that sounds particularly English.
Calming and soothing.
Absolutely. But because we don't have any emails this week, that means we have to have a question. And I'll be honest, I haven't thought about this in advance. So I'm just going to have to make something up off the top of my head. Nick, would you rather have to wake up every morning and have like the face of Momo an inch away from you?
I can tell you the answer to this.
Or would you rather have to let your kid be alone on YouTube without your supervision for 10 minutes every day until they're 25?
YouTube. Let me explain why. So here's the thing, and this is totally a selfish reason. One of my biggest fears. So like I have a couple of fears. Some are like care from child, but like one of my still as an adult, one of my biggest fears, thing that scares me in movies or in real life, is the thought of waking up with someone or something like looking at me or hovering over me, or any, like it can be my wife, it could be my kid. Just that the thought of that scares me so much that even if I was ready for it, it's just that thing that like I can't, like it scares me in a way that like death scares me in a strange like sense. It's like an irrational fear of mine that I have trouble bearing. YouTube, I will just be like, what'd you see? Talk to me about it. And I'll just try to work my way through it. I feel like I can have a conversation, and eventually he'll be old enough where I'm like, he might be okay. I just gotta get him through the toddler days. I don't think I could do something being in my face waking up every day. It would freak me out too much, especially if it's Momo and that creepy ass face.
I mean, when you explain it that way, you might have a point. This may have gone too dark.
Oh man.
My first thought was like, no, yeah, I'll definitely take that Momo shit. Like, I'll be awake. Like, there's no hitting the snooze button. Like you see that Momo face, like, fuck me, god damn it.
Oh, every time.
It's like, okay, I'm gonna go to the gym now. I'm awake. It's like I just got my coffee for the fuck coffee. I don't have to drink coffee anymore. Oh, I love coffee.
Dude, I'm thinking about it right now, and like the fears I've had, like the night terrors I've had, where I thought someone's been in my doorway. Cause like you wake up from a mid dream and you're trying, you're awake, but like you're still half dreaming. And it is terrifying to me.
Oh man, I haven't slept for like 3 days because we just switched Thea to a toddler bed. So I'm like, fuck, every sound is Thea like getting into the knife drawer, stabbing shit.
This is the gate. I told you put gate up.
Man, I have thoughts, efforts, thing. So I actually thought about putting the gate back up, and then I realized like, okay, those knives are actually the least of my concerns. My main concern is actually like her pulling the TV over on top of herself or some shit like that.
It's the reason people put locks on their kids' door.
Like even in her room, like she doesn't have any like big dressers or anything. But, like the dressers and shit that she does have, like God forbid she pulls out her whatever and she tries climbing up on it and that fucking thing falls over on her. Like she's as tall as it is, but it's got to be twice as heavy as she is, and like I can't take her out of that. I can't like, and I like thought about, okay, maybe I'll just attach it to the wall. I'm like, what is that? Like this 150-pound whatever, and this little itty bitty screw in the wall. I was like, what the fuck is that gonna do?
Listen, we had that fear of I telling you about this, like when we got home during Savannah, where Miles was sleeping in a big boy bed, and we walked in the room and he wasn't there. And you're like,
my God.
And he was under the fucking bed. But like there was that moment of pure, unadulterated, like, and he's not tall enough to open doors, but you're just like, oh my God, what if he's gone? What if he choked? What if he died? And like we've had him in a big boy bed before. He just never crawled underneath of it.
Sure.
Oh my God. So I sympathize with your fear.
Yeah, actually, fuck all the emails about our topic this week. Send me emails about how to get over this fear of the toddler bed. Send them to my no, okay, I'm not going to give you my personal email address. That's just crazy.
Lock her in a room and trust the room safe.
Oh my God. Honestly, so far we've been lucky. She doesn't even have interest of like getting out of the bed. She's just like, I'm just going to scream until somebody comes gets me.
I will tell you this from Big Boy Bed. If they fall asleep on the floor after it happens once, it's not nearly as scary as you think. It's just like, oh, he got out and fell asleep on the floor.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not afraid of her being on the floor. I'm worried about her being on the floor under a fucking bookshelf.
Yeah, well, that can happen. But she won't jump out of the crib. Momo.
You do your recommendation. I'm just going to go cry in the corner.
So my recommendation is, it's a funny one. You can, if you Google Lakers One Shiny Moment, you can watch some bloopers of the Lakers, just Los Angeles Lakers being fucking awful with LeBron James. And yes, it's a petty Chicago sports thing for me, but it is hilarious to watch Kuzma push LeBron James to play defense. And I use this video as proof on why Michael Jordan's still a better basketball player. So Google One Shiny Moment, Los Angeles Lakers.
That is
2008.
super petty.
Oh, it's so good though.
It's just like, I want Michael Jordan to be better. So like,
Yeah.
See, he can't win with 0 players. Like Michael didn't either.
But no one had to push Michael to play defense. Literally push him into the guy to play the defense.
How old is LeBron?
Younger than Michael was going to the Wizards.
Really? Well, yes, going to the Wizards when he also sucked.
But that's the comparison.
Okay, but how old is he compared to when Michael Jordan retired?
I'd have to look. Anyway, go look at it. It's funny. I still think LeBron James is a good human being. I just think it's a funny thing to watch him not be good at basketball.
I still think he's a better than average basketball player too.
I think he's still probably 1 or 2 in the world. It's like him, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant. So
I think James Harden's probably better at this point.
Maybe.
My recommendation for this week is a podcast that if you haven't already heard of, then you've probably heard of the film or the documentary or the book. I'm going to recommend the podcast because we're a podcast. And if you listen to podcasts, you're always looking for more podcasts.
This is true.
So I'm going to recommend The Dropout.
What's that?
This is the podcast about Elizabeth Holmes and how do you pronounce that? Theranos.
Oh yes, the one that's the HBO documentary.
The HBO documentary. I think there's another documentary. There's
the blood
a book.
Thing, right? The blood thing.
Yes, it's the blood thing.
Oh yeah, she's creepy.
She is like apparently. I'm not going to spoil. No, I'm going to spoil this.
I want to watch that. I want to watch that.
Apparently, it's not her real voice. Apparently, she changes her voice.
That's not what I knew. That she doesn't blink.
I didn't hear that one.
She doesn't blink.
There are so many stupid details in this, and I'm going to go ahead and ruin this part. Apparently, it's not over, and so all of these stories are being told prematurely just to chase after a buck, but it is so fucked up. It is like Fire Festival fucked up, though.
I haven't watched that one either.
Like, so here's the deal. Like, but you know the story.
I know the story
because everybody fucking knows the story at this point. This is one of those stories that, like, it is fucked up, but it's fucked up in that way that you look at it and go, like, yeah, no, that's how the world works. Yeah, no shit, this happened. The real amazing thing is that I'm supposed to be astonished that this is existing. Like, yeah, no, of course, this yes, this is what the medical industry is in my eyes, and I think that more than anything is where I just go, yeah, we really need some sort of medical reform in this country because this shit is fucked when you just kind of assume that this is the way it works.
Yeah.
Although technically this is a tech story because it's supposed to be a Silicon Valley whatever bullshit, but
it's both, and that's what makes it crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely more Fire Festival and less Serial, where like there's a twist and turn behind every. No, it's like, look, people, you know what's fucking happening here. Yeah. Let's just tell you the crazy ass story of how it happened.
But it's so crazy.
Yeah.
Oh man. That's listen, it's a different documentary, but it's like the documentary Abducted in Plain Sight. It's crazy because it's no way it can be real, but it's real.
So again, that's The Dropout by ABC News. You can find that on more or less any platform.
That's awesome.
So I think that's going to do it for us this week. As always, you can find me at Chris Mossigan on Twitter and at Rampant55 on Twitch.
You can find me at N Westemeyer on Twitter, at N Westemeyer on Instagram, at our Instagram at Two Dumb Dads.
You can find us on our Facebook page at Facebook
The group Two Dumb Dads.
Yeah, the group.
On Facebook.
We do the group thing. We do groups. We have a group. It's a thing we do.
Yeah.
And of course on our website, twodumbdads.com. And is that all the things? I can't, my head is blank right now. Is that all the things?
Yeah, stay tuned next week for an adventure in dadding from me.
Yes, Nick will have an adventure. I don't know what it is because he's going to re-record and edit, and he's going to make something up.
There's going to be no
Let's
edit.
just be honest.
There's going to be me sending this to you and be going, hey,
it's
Chris.
utter bullshit.
There you go.
And I'm going to have to introduce it because I know he's going to forget to do the introduction.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay because that's what I do. I'm the introducer person.
You're the captain. I'm just here for the ride.
Until next time.
I'm the talent.
Be well.